Hello, this is a review of the Rosetta North Star fountain pen. Um, I just got this yesterday and or day before yesterday, and I haven't had a chance to ink it or anything. Um, just to go over the packaging. This is an American company out of Michigan. First time trying it. Not sure how I came about it. I think I was looking for some Schmidt nibs, and that's how I came across it. They basically use Schmidt nibs from Germany, and comes in a sleeve case and a box, and kind of a uh, leatherette with fake stitching box, and nice presentation case inside. I guess Rosetta makes inks as well. I did not get any of the inks, and they have a 2-year warranty, which is described in this card. So I'm just gonna, and I think there was one black cartridge in there. So the pen, this model is North Star, and the color selection here is Tierra Di Siena, and I guess it's supposed to have this earth tone, earthy kind of striated barrel, which kind of has a little luster to it in some spots. It looks like tiger stone, I think. There's like a semi-precious stone called tiger stone they make jewelry out of or whatever. I remember from the time I was very young. Um, Anyway, so looking at the pen, it's a pretty decent size pen. I would say a medium size pen, regular size pen. I'm just gonna pick a pen here. This is a Chilton Style Writer, very cheap day-to-day pen. So it's a pretty standard pen size. Um, but it does have a little girth to it though, especially the cap. The cap is kind of fatter, and the barrel tapers, and the striated finish is only from the cap to the end of the barrel, and the end of the barrel is black. It's got a black cap, chrome chrome band here, thick band, which says Rosetta. Let me see if I can turn my light around and focus a little bit. So it says Rosetta here. Clip design, pretty simple. It's got a slight cantilever here, but I don't think it's necessarily doing anything. Pretty simple clip design. And then on the top here, it has kind of like a compass type of logo, which is what the Rosetta's logo is, and it's in kind of a bubble or blister, whatever you want to call it. So kind of an interesting look. I think it looks somewhat nice. I probably should have picked another color. I think it looked much better online, but oh well. I mean, I still like it. It's not bad, but I think there were a couple other better choices there. Open it up. It's a screw-on, screw-off cap. Not too many turns or anything. And it has a contrasting little grip section, which is curved, flared at both front and back. And it has a pretty large size nib, so I'm just gonna, come on, focus. Okay, I don't like iOS 7 because it doesn't focus very well. Okay. And it's got nice proportions, nice shape, kind of flared, then tapering in, then tapering back out, then tapering in again. So it reminds me just a little bit of my Model 02 Intrinsic. Nice big nib, number 6 nib. And this nib is a Schmidt nib from Germany. It has an iridium point, and I've actually never used a Schmidt nib, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. And you can see the decoration. There's some decoration along the nib here, some scroll work. There's a vent hole, and then it says in kind of decorative handwriting right below the vent hole, it says medium with like a decorative window in it, and then it says Schmidt iridium point. Doesn't say Germany or anything anywhere. The feed is, I believe, ebonite, and fills the nib pretty fully, so there's not a lot of chance for misalignment of the feed and the channels in the feed and the nib. Now this whole assembly sits in a nib holder, so if you bought some Schmidt nibs, I don't remember exactly what number this nib is, model number. I think it's Schmidt FH442 nib or something like that. But let me just disconnect this thing here so I can take that out. So that's the nib holder, and you can you know, get broad nib, fine nib, whatever, and just replace the nib by pulling just unscrewing the nib holder assembly out, and getting a different nib, so you can change nibs easily. And there's quite a few pens. All the Franklin Christophs that I showed you, they have a nib holder. That's kind of the purpose. Nice long converter. Very you know, I mean, I don't think it's longer than all the other converters out there, but it somehow looks a little longer. So good ink capacity, and you can see they pretty much maximized the size, maximize the size of the ink, the converter. I'm gonna actually ink it here. There was some issue with confusion with the order, and the gentleman I bought it from decided to ship me a bottle of ink to kind of compensate, or whatever you want to call it, for my troubles and waiting 2 weeks before getting the pen shipped. And I asked him to send me, you know, any ink, just a dark color, because I don't necessarily like lighter inks. So he sent me a Private Reserve ebony blue ink, and I'm gonna fill it out, and we'll see how this pen writes. So I did actually test this ink out a little bit, and it was too thick, so I added maybe, you know, half a cap, I don't know, maybe 10 ml of water in it. And I usually don't dilute my inks because it does take away from the richness, but this ink is so thick it just looks black. This is my first experience with Private Reserve ink, and so the way I ink it, sometimes I get some air in there, and then I'll pull the air out, and then I'll dip it in again and re-ink it, refill the cartridge, so, or the converter, I mean. So this looks to me a very, very thick, viscous type ink, and put this away before I spill it. And I'm just gonna clean the nib here. Some of these larger nibs are somehow harder to clean sometimes, and there's a lot of ink that stays on the nib. So okay, so that's the best I think I'm gonna do here. So let's give it a whirl. So this is the Rosetta North Star. Terra Di Siena. And it's a medium nib made by Schmidt of Germany. Iridium point. I don't know if you can see, but this is an extremely wet writer. Maybe a little too wet for my taste, but I don't know yet. And this ink is pretty much writing pretty much like black. It's ebony blue, and you can see a little bluish hint when I go really fast, and I do that. But and you can look at my hands, but frankly, if you look at the writing, it looks pretty much black. So it's a pretty dark blue, unless I decide to, I guess, go faster. So very smooth nib, excellent nib. I love the size. I like the pen overall. It's very light. Posted, unposted. The cap is a little heavy, but doesn't throw it off balance too much. If you want to post it, I guess you can. Not my thing. I think it does. It is a disproportionately heavy cap. Not heavier cap, not heavy. So let's see line variation here. Now this nib, as I said, is very smooth and very wet. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can split the nib. So these are 3 pressures, and this is kind of the max pressure. So that's the line variation. So decent line variation, but you can see because how wet this nib is. I even have a little blob there. So maybe I gotta play with this nib a little bit, but maybe a little too wet. But excellent writer, really smooth. Again, I think I paid $50 for it. Certainly worth the money. You know, it's good quality materials overall, and good quality pen, nice design. There's nothing not to like. You know, there are some $50 pens that, you know, look like $150 pens. This is not one of those. But it certainly, you know, looks like a nice, decent pen, and it is a very nice pen. Excellent writer. So hope you enjoyed this review. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.